Hello and welcome to World Talks with me, Ashim Kumar. Germany is overhauling its intelligence services as officials warn of an acute threat from Russian cyber attacks, sabotage and other forms of hybrid warfare. New powers would allow government agencies to hack hostile systems and disrupt foreign operations, while repeated drone incidents, including at Hanover Airport, raise further security concerns. We're joined by Roland Freudenstein, who's co-founder of Brussels Freedom Hub. Roland, welcome back to TVP World. Thanks for taking time.
Good evening. Pleasure to talk to you.
Good evening. So why is Germany facing, there are a lot of countries in Europe that are facing threats, hybrid threats from Russia, but Germany seems to be bearing the major brunt of it. Why?
Well, first of all, Germany is the biggest member state of the European Union, but I think it was also spectacularly unprepared for the kind of hybrid warfare that Russia is now exerting on us. As the newsreel said, there have been a couple of spectacular cases of drone attacks and near disasters on German airports. So I think Germany is trying to correct something that has been wanting to be corrected for a long time.
But it's taking its time, isn't it? Other countries they've seen what's been happening, and they have been tightening up, not perfectly, I grant you, but nonetheless, Germany seems to be lagging behind. Why is that?
Well, first of all, there's the German history factor. Obviously, after World War II, after the experience of German totalitarianism, there were good reasons for the German intelligence services to strictly stick to intelligence gathering and analysis and warning the federal government, and to not take any action that might look like police or executive or law enforcement. So this was certainly true for a long time, but I think conditions have changed now, and the Russian threat, imminent Russian threat, forces Germany to actually, come up with better solutions and normalize its relationship to intelligence services in the broader sense.
Understood, but it is facing challenges within Germany itself, isn't it? There are people saying, well, what about privacy concerns, for example? How difficult are those challenges going to be to overcome?
Well, technically speaking, this government has a majority in parliament, and I don't think that they will allow themselves to look so stupid as to suddenly lose a vote on such a momentous issue. So, first of all, I think the law that has been now proposed by the federal cabinet, by the government, is going to pass through. But what are the points of criticism? I already mentioned the German history thing. We must prevent any German intelligence service in the future to become something even remotely comparable to the Gestapo or something like that. But there are other criticisms. There is one very principled liberal argument saying you cannot defend freedom by curtailing it. And of course, the collection of private data, for example, of German citizens and citizens of other countries is taken as such a curtailing of freedom, which, is correct. But on the other hand, if we leave everything as it is, then the freedom of all Germans is going to be in greater peril. So that would be my response to this argument. There is one more maybe implicit point of criticism. The the de-escalation fetishists, as I would call them, are saying that as Germany endows its services with more competences, this will only provoke Russia to become more aggressive. Well, I'm sorry, but this is not the spirit of our era. This argument comes from the left politically, maybe also from the extreme right. Of course, the AfD party is also opposed to this reform. But as I said, the government has a majority. This reform is highly necessary, and therefore it will pass through.
Good. Well, not sure how much more aggressive Russia could become, but nonetheless. Now, I want to talk about the intelligence powers specifically. Will they allow German intelligence services to actually be proactive, for example, in hacking enemy cyber networks and so on, to prevent future attacks?
Well, let's put it this way. In general, there will be more permission to become proactive indeed, to actually thwart threats before they become concrete aggression. And the government, of course, even in its 700-page legal bill, is not quite specific on examples of how this could look like. That's understandable, given the topic. But as you said, I think we can safely assume that from now on, German services can proactively try to prevent attacks against Germany, not only react to aggressions that have already happened.
Right. Well, talking about reacting, Roland, one attack, of course, which raised a lot of eyebrows, was finding an armed drone at Leipzig airport. I mean, even in kind of most normal, ordinary circumstances, one would have thought airport airspace would be better protected than that. What happened?
Yeah, one would think so. The drone they found was, I think, something, it must have weighed maybe 1 kilogram or something. So it was really small. And it evidently, in this comparatively second-rate airport in Leipzig, the safety measures were not sufficient. This will, of course, have to change. But it just slipped through. It is not easy to detect small drones that, as I said, weigh 1 kilo or 1.5 kilos and are maybe 50 centimeters in diameter. So, this is a hard task, and it will take some very costly and elaborate improvements to prevent stuff like this in the future. And even if you detect such a drone, to actually disable it when it has explosives on board at an airport where you have kerosene all over the place, so to speak, is also not easy. So, anti-drone warfare, when we talk about small drones like this, is quite a science in itself.
Indeed. Roland Freudenstein, as always, thank you so much for sharing your analysis with our audience, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Goodbye. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, lots more coming up. Goodbye.